Welcome everybody to the Wholesaling Inc. podcast. This podcast is going to be absolutely bananas.
Bananas!
Ain't nothing gonna stop this fire.
I can't believe his business is so incredible, and if I can do this, every single one of you can do this. Every single one of you.
Something higher. Ain't nothing gonna stop this fire.
I am here with, you're going to get both me and Todd Toback on this podcast. So this one is going to be absolutely unbelievable. It's going to be chock full, and the theme of this podcast is going to be how to handle objections.
Okay.
How to handle objections from the sellers. Maybe we can touch on a couple maybe from the buyers, but mostly how to handle it from the sellers, because this is a common question that comes up to me all the time in social media, all the time from the TTP students, all the time from Wholesaling Inc. Facebook page, all the time on the YouTube channel, is how do I effectively handle the objections that I get?
Right.
And you know as well as I do, this is like there's only a certain amount of objections that you get.
I mean, I think that's huge, right? And I think knowing how to handle this is going to make or break you, right?
Yep.
So it's funny. I think I saw a post. I don't know if you saw this online, but someone said, I heard of a friend that sent out 10,000 postcards and he did no deals. Direct mail is dead.
Right.
And I just ranted,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
there's a lot of information that's missing there, right? So
Yeah.
I don't care if you've got a great marketing source. If you can't handle objections, if you don't know how to compress timelines, something that we're going to talk about today,
Yeah.
you are dead in the water. On the other hand, to spin that in a positive thing, if you know how to handle yourself, if you know how to handle objections, make the seller feel comfortable, control the conversation, all stuff we're going to go over today,
Yep.
right? You are going to completely and utterly dominate
Yeah.
your competition.
Yeah.
And that's a word that I really want to talk about is dominate. You're going to feel good, you're going to do good, you're going to make money, and you're gonna just explode your results.
Absolutely. And just to let you guys know, Todd Toback, this guy, Todd, you've been in this industry for what? Almost 10 years? I mean, wholesaling.
No, yeah. So 18 years investing, and then
Right.
about since I've been wholesaling exclusively since like 2012.
2012,
So 7
guys.
years. Yeah.
Like 2012, when the market was just kind of tweaking back up, before a lot of the people here listening and or watching ever even heard of wholesaling, Todd was doing this in a really competitive San Diego market. It was the first podcast that I ever heard. I didn't even know what a podcast was. I had a friend tell me that, oh, podcasts are amazing. You get all this information. And I was thinking to myself, well, what if there was, I'm gonna Google wholesaling podcast, and your podcast pops up, and it's you interviewing your brother, Tom Kroll,
Right.
and pulling and getting him into the business.
Right.
What was it called?
It was the Do or Die series.
Do or Die.
Do or Die series. 90 days to a life without limits.
90
Yeah,
days.
Yes.
So
yes.
what was it? Just touch it. What was the 90 days? Like he had 90 days to get his first deal?
Well, this was really interesting because I was actually trying to get Tom involved in wholesaling for years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, and he was comfortable, and he had this job, and he actually sold the company, and he was in this job as the owner,
Right.
or the leftover owner,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so he was like,
Yeah.
And then one day, like, he was like, I think they're going to fire me soon, but he was just not caring. And then he lost the job, and then he went or on the verge of bankruptcy.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, one day, boom, he's like, hey, what about that wholesaling thing going on, right?
Yeah,
and so and so I said, you know what, let's do this, but like we got to go all in. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, well, we're going to do it live on the podcast, and everyone's going to hear. He's like, no. He's like, don't tell everyone I'm almost bankrupt. I'm like, nope, we're telling them. And he's like, don't pull the deadline. I'm like, we got to do the deadline.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah.
Ironically, this urgency, and before anyone knew Tom as Tom, right, is like this pressure really put him in a do or die situation,
Yep.
right, which was really, really cool. I think whenever we can put heat on ourselves like that, it's awesome.
Well, and it really, I mean, you were the coach of all of us coaches. I mean, you were like the tip of the pyramid type of thing.
Sure.
I mean, we all come to you when we have questions on how to be lean in this, because you have an incredible business in California. You run it very much like a business, right? And you're teaching, and the way that you train your acquisition managers, disposition managers, the people that work with you, is kind of what we're going to go through right now, which is getting through that initial. We get it, okay? Marketing, talking to people, getting the leads in.
Yes.
We've got leads in now.
Yes.
But now,
that's the easy part, right? I mean, now's the rubber meets the road, baby. Come
right.
on. Yeah.
We're not building rockets. We're just talking to people. Either you're paying for them to call you or you're calling them and you're using your time. So you get the leads in, now becomes converting it and actually turning it into income, which is truly the skill.
You said something really awesome, and I just want to clarify that because I think whoever's watching this might have missed this.
Yeah.
There's sales versus marketing. So marketing is getting the phone to ring, right? If you're doing outbound direct mail or pay-per-click advertising, that's marketing. If you're doing cold calling, those outgoing calls, if they say yes, right, that's the marketing arm, right? This is the back half, the back half. So it's almost like the front is almost like practice, and the sales is like, hey, this is game time. You've already spent the money. Now you got to perform, baby.
Yep. So now you get a lead coming in, and what happens is either they don't answer their phone anymore, they don't respond to texts anymore. All of a sudden, they're saying there's a certain. I think that there's 4 main, maybe 5 main objections that a lot of people talk about that we experience a lot in our business, right?
Yep.
I want to get more money.
Yep.
Right.
Never hear that.
Yeah. I want more money for my property. I want to get a lot of different offers from a lot of different people.
Yep.
Right? I can't sell right now. I want to wait some time, maybe at the end of the month.
That's a doozy. That's the killer right there.
Yeah.
The killer of all wholesale business. I need more time. Let's talk about that one.
Right? I need more time, and maybe a little bit the I don't know. I've never heard of your company, or you're not you know what I mean? When you're starting out, or when you don't really have a brand name. That's one of those things that we even get. They're like, "Are you on the Better Business Bureau?" Whatever. Yeah. So let's tackle these one at a time. Okay.
Okay.
Well, first, let's talk the philosophy, because this is something that you put into my head. This is something that you put into my acquisition manager said. My company said. What is an objection? What is an objection truly?
Well, an objection truly is you don't know. Right? You don't know what that objection is. It might be a real objection, but another time it may be something completely different, right? It might be a smoke screen. It might be just a way to push you off. It may be a way that they're trying to get more offers. And so the most important thing here in handling the objection is finding out, is this really the objection? Right? Is this really the objection? Because a lot of times sellers, look, they're smart. They're trained. Whoever mentions a number first loses, right? I don't want to hurt this guy's feelings. Or if I tell this guy what's really going on, he's going to take advantage of me. And let me tell you, this is the case more often than not. So the first thing that you have to ask yourself is this the real objection? And then, of course, is this the only objection, right? And then after that is going to be maintaining control. So we could talk about all 3 of those.
Well, I think, off the bat, pre-qualifying is absolutely vital, right? Condition, timeline, motivation, price. What is going on here? Is this an actual lead?
Right.
And I think there's a big difference between an objection and a condition. Like an objection, I want more money for my property. A condition, I want more money because I have no equity in the house. I pulled out, I owe $300,000. I want $350, and it's worth $250. Right? That's a condition we can't get past. But something that I want more money, or I want to wait for some higher offers. These are objections that we can talk to and see really what it is. What is the fundamental part of that?
Okay.
Right?
So what I'd like to do is, if you want to talk about objections, we're going to kind of like freeze frame a little bit, if that's okay with you. So that's really important, by the way. So part of that is we're going to discuss a technique that we'll use. I got 5 communication techniques, that I teach on my No Limit Selling system. Okay, and so I'm going to say, okay, this is the technique that we used, and then we'll actually handle the objection. Does that sound good? Okay,
perfect.
What was the website that we had, by the way?
Convert
Wholesale Deals, was that it?
Convert Wholesale Deals, guys, and it'll be a link down here as well. But if you're interested, there's going to be more videos in there that attach to this, but also it's going to give you an idea of everything that Todd's teaching. It's a must. Like literally, this is my coach. Like for real. Okay. So anyway, you want to freeze frame this a little bit?
I'm going to freeze frame it. So give me an objection. I'm going to tell you what's going on, and this is so important, right?
Well, let's go with the deep one. Let's go with the one that you say is the killer of all wholesale business.
The killer of all wholesale businesses.
You know what, Todd? I want to sell the property, but I've got my sister's living in there. She's not paying any rent, but I need to give her some more time so that she can find somewhere to live, maybe a couple more months.
Okay, freeze. Okay, so right here we've got a major challenge, right? And everyone's like, okay, I've got a motivated seller. You feel good, right? You're like, I got a hot one,
Yeah.
right? Everyone's freaking pumped, right?
Yeah.
Well, this one right here, the problem with this is this will go on for another 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and you could be dead by then.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, we don't know.
And so the seller, this is the objection where the seller's not really giving an objection. They want to do business.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is they don't know how to do business. Emotionally, they're attached to this.
Yeah.
And so sellers get in these situations because they are natural procrastinators.
Yes.
This is their nature. They don't want conflict. And so the only reason why they let their sister live in there for free for 8 months after their dad passed away and left it to both of them,
Yeah.
right? While the
Yeah.
house that deteriorates, now it's behind in taxes.
Yep.
All true stories,
All
right?
true stories.
Is because they're not able to deal with conflict. And so what now is going to change between now and the next phone call if you don't intervene?
Yeah.
Answer.
Well,
If you don't
nothing.
intervene.
I mean,
Nothing.
nothing's going to change. I'm going to just keep going along. I'm going to keep my head in the sand. I'm going to do whatever. Bills are going to come up. There's going to be some stress. I'm going to constantly be kind of pushing it off. I'll probably drink
Yes.
a bunch at home and forget about it. And
Right.
Just kind of
so that's you as the seller. Now,
Yeah.
most acquisition specialists or wholesalers, so when I use the word acquisition specialist, or if you're a one-man show, that's fine. You're just doing deals. Totally cool.
Yeah.
But I'm referring to the person who's locking up deals with a seller.
Mm-hmm.
When people get new, they call up and they say, "Oh, great. Hey," and then let's say you call in a month. "How's your sister doing? Did you talk to your sister?"
Oh, I haven't got around to it yet. We've got a lot of things, a lot of paperwork issues, and I just got to talk to the attorney some more, and I'll sell it when I can.
Okay. It's okay if I follow up in a month.
Right, that's
Right?
typical.
Right?
Yeah.
Boom. Okay, how do you now? I want you now to get into the mind of the wholesaler or the acquisition specialist.
Okay.
How do you feel?
I feel like I've still probably got a lead.
Maybe.
Right?
Right.
They're just kind of working some stuff out.
Right.
And, go on to the other real hot ones, the real low-hanging fruit.
Real low-hanging
and
fruit.
lock up those, focus on those. And this one will pop eventually, but I need to finesse it a little bit.
We think that, right? But
Right.
in this business, if you focus on the low-hanging fruit, especially the market's getting more competitive, you're toast.
Yeah.
Right. You're literally toast. So what's going to happen is that month 6, month 7, month 8, you'll see this in notes if you're keeping a good CRM. Is this thing's going up for 2 years and the story has not changed at all.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So now what we have to work on is compressing this timeline.
Okay.
Compressing. This is when you're handling this objection. The seller doesn't even know it's objection. In their mind, they want to do business with you, but nothing is ever going to change.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so this is, I don't want to get too far off topic, but this is so important because a lot of people, they have these hot leads like this and they're counting their money. Right? So they feel good. There's no urgency.
Right.
Right? And so oh, I'm going to get that deal and that deal and that deal and that deal. And they get pushed out.
It's gonna be huge.
Months out. Huge, right? And it's pushed out 7, 8 months and they're counting that money. And because they're looking far out, they're not looking at closing revenue today. And that's
Right.
a real problem.
Sure.
Okay, so let's get into the thick of it right now. So how do we compress the timeline? Well, you want to do something where we talk about get seller commitments.
Okay.
Really important.
Okay.
So you must define with the seller what is the next step.
Okay.
Right?
Ooh,
In painstaking detail.
Okay.
In painstaking detail.
Sure.
Now they might squirm a little bit, right?
Yep.
But if you do, right, you can do something that I call a cushion. All right, where you can kind of back away and pull away and no, I want your help. So we can role play this a little bit.
Okay.
Right? And then when you think you're clear, get even more clear.
Okay.
Right? And then when they get a little pushback from the sister, kind of role play that with them
Yeah.
a little bit so they know what to expect. Right, and then kind of future pace and say, hey, if your sister doesn't do this,
I see this
right,
path. Yeah.
what are we going to do?
Yep.
And have them define that.
Yep.
Does that make
Yep.
sense? Right.
Yep.
So we're going to do 2 things. Number 1, I'm going to clarify.
Okay.
Right. And you're going to notice that I'm also going to do something called reversing. So a lot of times sellers will control the conversation.
Yeah.
Right. And you're going to tell me this and call me back. I'm going to reverse it so I can take back control of the conversation, and then I'm going to get a commitment.
Okay.
That's 2 out of the 5 communication techniques.
Okay.
Okay. So
Yep.
let's role play.
So Todd, I can't sell yet. I'm still waiting to get things figured out with my sister. It's a tricky.
Well, tell me why that is.
Well, she's going through a tough spot. She needs somewhere to live, and she's trying to get a job, and And we need to give her some time to just kind of get on her feet.
I understand that.
Yeah.
So tell me, how long has this whole thing gone on?
Oh, longer than I'd like to mention.
Okay, can we share that? Share the details?
Yeah, I mean, she's been going through a tough spot for a few years.
Okay, so a few years.
Yeah.
Okay, and so you need a little more time. How much time do you think you need? I want you to define this for me. By the way, there's no pressure whatsoever to do business with us whatsoever.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to get an idea. What is your timeline where you'd like this to be completely resolved, and that's enough time for your sister?
Man, I'd like it a month or two would be perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, what if you could actually even give her like more time? Like it's like you're like, oh man, that's over the top.
6 months would probably be over the top.
6 months. Okay.
Yeah.
So do you want over the top, or do you want like what's the timeline to say this is the drop dead date like I'd want her out?
I'd say in the next 3 months.
3 months.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay. So what has to happen for you to talk to your sister and have her committed to move out in the next 3 months? When will you have to have that conversation and give her that kind of commitment?
I've been trying to. I mean, we've had that conversation. She just doesn't do anything.
Right.
I mean, it's it's just kind of just pounded it into her head. What's going to happen.
Right.
That we need to move forward, and she wants the money from the property as well.
Okay.
As I do, and she can't keep it up, and it's costing more, and it's just it needs a lot of work. Yeah.
So and again, hopefully I'm not prying too much. Okay. Notice cushion,
Yeah.
right?
And I think also really important, you're not causing any friction with me,
Right.
right? You're not telling me that I'm wrong in anything.
Yeah.
You're not telling me that my sister needs to get her act together,
Right.
right? You're not saying, well, gee, she's taking advantage of you, don't you think?
Yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah.
some of these things that you might be going through your head, but you're keeping the conversation going and asking questions, right? And keeping the friction low.
Yeah, and so I think the biggest part of that though too is so I'm cushioning it and keeping the friction low.
Yep.
Right? And then if I feel like I go overboard,
Yeah.
I'll be like, hey, I'm just trying to help, by the way. If it's not a fit, that's okay, right?
Yeah.
And you got to sense that and,
Yeah.
and listen to the voice and
Yep.
just, hey, well, no big deal, try to help.
Yep.
So in that, I'll say, okay, well, listen, I know you've been going over this for 2 years, right? Do you think the next time you speak to her that this is going to change?
Yeah, I think she's coming around.
She is?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, she's coming around.
All right.
She's been looking at places. She's been talking to
Awesome.
friends, seeing if there's a room she can rent or whatever. She knows that we need to sell this. I
Okay.
mean, she wants the money.
Would it be fair to set a deadline with her?
Yeah. Well, I guess so.
Okay. Like
Yeah.
what? I mean, what
Man, tomorrow? No, I don't. I don't
let's
know.
say, I want you to be fair to your sister,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I'd like her to be able to stay there at least another, I don't know, like maybe another year or two.
No, that's too much.
Ooh, what was that? That was something we would call the stealth mismatch, right?
Yeah.
So not a year. Okay, so what do you think?
No, she's got to be out in 3 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, what if it was like 8 or 9 months? No.
No, I mean
Okay.
just taxes and.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if she's got to be out in 2 months, what do you think would be a fair deadline to give her?
She's going to need more time than I give her, so probably a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So here we are. I know you want more time,
Yep.
right? Would it be fair to ask you to talk to your sister and give her a deadline of 30 days when you speak to her next?
Yeah, that makes
Okay.
sense.
Or when do you want to speak to her?
We're supposed to see her this weekend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So how about this? So how about we follow up on Monday? You're going to talk to her sister. You're going to give her a deadline, right?
Yeah.
And then you and I will talk on Monday. Let me ask you a question. I know we talked price. Is there anything else preventing us from doing business besides your sister?
I think that's it.
Okay.
Just making sure that we don't have to fix it up.
Okay.
We don't have we can't really repair it, and as long as we get that price, we're good.
Okay.
Yep.
Let me ask you this. When you give her this deadline and she starts screaming and yelling and throwing stuff across the room and going absolutely nuts, right? And says she hates your guts, right? I'm not saying she's gonna do that, but like, what if she did?
Yeah.
How do we handle that?
Well, I mean, just
Time, by the way,
Yeah.
conditioning.
Yeah.
Conditioning. So I'm conditioning for prepping you so that when she does, she's like, oh, Todd warned me about this,
Yeah.
now I'm ready.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
I love it. I love it. This happens though.
Yeah.
This is like real life. I mean, this is really
Oh, yeah.
Alejandro's nodding behind the camera.
yes.
I mean, this is real life. People go through this. We hear this all the time.
Yes.
I just love the way that you're framing it and you're getting commitments from them.
Yes,
now,
this is-
I assume some people don't. Some people are just like, nah,
Yeah.
you know, I don't want to do
Sure.
it. You
They're
know,
like
whatever.
Eeyore sometimes, right?
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
okay. But it works most of the time.
Yeah.
Not every time.
Yeah.
But if you can improve your batting average from
Absolutely.
100 to 280, it
Yep.
feels pretty good.
Yeah, love it, love it. So I you know, if she acts, I'm going back.
Yeah.
If she acts crazy, then you know I know what to look for. It's no
Okay.
big deal.
Okay.
I know what if anybody can handle her, it's me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
All right. So then I have us down as a Monday.
Yep.
At 10 a.m.
Yep.
Right. And then if you get this handled, are we ready to do business?
Yeah.
On Monday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Sounds great. I'll see you Monday at 10 a.m.
Awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye.
Great.
Okay.
I love it. So condensing the timeline, right?
That's compressing the timeline. So
Yeah.
what happens, and again, this what we talk about in the no limit selling system is that it was made on the foundation is the tears of my acquisition specialist and me learning this stuff.
Right.
Right. I mean, getting punched in the mouth.
Yeah.
Those timelines will kill you. And so normally, in a lot of scenarios, they just keep pushing it out and out and out. And you could be working the same lead 2 or 3 years, and you could have closed it in 6 months.
Yep.
Right. And so, we had one where we were working where as a hoarder, a really nice old lady, and she was so embarrassed and so much fear associated with this. We just said, hey, look, like when is going to be a good time? And she's like, oh, never. Just her stating that.
Yeah.
The actual getting her to state that actual never got her to commit to do the deal,
Yeah.
right? And that was an $80,000 deal, right? Just by, and that was a 2-year-old lead that we compressed, from infinity
Yeah.
down to 2 years. So.
Yeah. Yeah. And you've done some big deals.
Months. Well, I mean, I like to think they're big, like in the wholesaling community, but
Right.
the commercial
Yeah,
space,
yeah, yeah.
other people, some of them doing it huge. There's some guy in San Francisco who does massive
Right.
deals. But,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. And you've learned through all of these battles that you're having, through all the trial and error, through, what did you say, 7 years of these same conversations.
Yep.
Has anybody come up with any new objections? Any new major objections that have really like stumped you, that you're like, oh my gosh, this is crazy? Because I want more money, there's competition, I need more time, I don't know who you are, right?
I mean, there's some bizarre ones, right?
Sure.
Where you're like, hey, how do you handle this? Right? You're never doing business with that guy.
No,
Right?
no, that's a condition, typically.
Yeah. Well, like some guys, like, hey, I won't do business through escrow or title. Just bring me cash.
Yeah, of
Right?
course.
So
That's a condition.
That's a condition,
Yeah.
and you're like, no, So
We had one today, the guy said, well, if I live out of town, if you just send me some money, I can get into town, and then I'll sell it to you at that price.
yeah. You're like, no. How about this? I'll send a notary out there for $35. We'll wrap this out right now, and he'll bring you some tacos.
Yeah, there you go. That's it. So, okay, now let's just touch on one other, because I think it's something that comes up a lot. What happens when you taught me years ago, and it's something that has increased, literally, guys, it has increased my assignment fees from $12,000 to $27,000.
Oh, yeah.
And that was anchoring low with the price based on two things. And it's something I talk about on this channel all the time and on the podcast. Certainty and likability,
Yep.
right? When you're giving the low price. How does somebody speak to the people that maybe haven't done it, or even worse to get through this, are real estate agents that are looking to do wholesale, and they go way high and they just sabotage themselves the whole time.
Yeah.
How do you build the certainty and likability? How do you get big deals?
Okay, well, if you're a real estate agent, you're going to need years of therapy to undo your programming. So I'm sorry, send Brent the bill.
Yeah.
But and I just say that kidding. You can certainly do deals.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing is a lot of people, the size of the wholesale deal they get is it literally what they're expecting, what they think they deserve. So
Yeah.
like, I've got to make at least 10. Well, what do you know? All their wholesale deals are the
10.
same.
Yep.
Right? And of course, it's not always the case, right? But a lot of times it is. And so number one is that you've got to you've got to reset your expectations and say, hey, listen, I want to make 50, 100, 150K a deal. And once you do that, you're going to start negotiating differently, right? In two ways. Number one is that you're going to have to go lower,
Yep.
right? So a lot of times we talk about dealing with a seller and they're not going to give you a number, and that happens, right? Well, then you got to go really, really, really low, right? Well, okay. Well, what's really, really, really low? That's subjective, right? So what you think you deserve and what you're going for, that's going to be determined by how much you want to make, right? So number one, I challenge you, whatever your number is, double it, okay? And then next month, we're going to double it again.
And that's double the amount that you want to make, not what you're offering.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
The amount that you want,
That's
the amount that you want in your bank account. So, and this is really, really, really critical. When we look through it now, we look at through the lens of $25,000 a deal. Back before it was 10. Back before it was 15. Now we keep increasing. Now we do less deals for sure. But they're bigger and we make more money.
Yeah.
Like it's just, and life is so much better because typically the smaller deals are the ones that just take up all your time and are so emotional and there's a lot of drama and they want to cancel, they want to keep it going and you need to get this side and that side.
They regret the deal. They could have gotten the deal from the buyers, where the sister-in-law tells them, oh, you could have gotten more. Right, and so a lot of people think they're leaving money on the table. No, you're not leaving money. You're getting the number one asset that you have as a business owner, and that is a clear mind. Right, a clear mind is going to be more productive. You're going to be doing more deals. You're going to feel confident, and the business is going to be a lot more enjoyable. Right, fighting for scraps. That's not my style. And the number of deals, by the way, if you listen on Facebook or wherever you have is BS, right? It's the size of your deals, your gross and your net, right? And of course, net's being the most important number by far.
So how do you build up your confidence, your certainty? Likability, I think people can figure out. If you're not likable, work on it.
Right.
You know what I mean? But the certainty and the confidence like it scares a lot of people. Like in there, that whole thing of if it hurts in your gut to offer them that's probably a good sign, or even offer less. Like is that how do you feel confident and certain with a low offer when you're giving it, when they won't give you a price or when you know that you need to be lower?
Sure. Well, number one is going to be able to role play this stuff. So like I talk more about this in the video series that we have.
Convert Wholesale Deals.
Yeah, convertwholesaledeals.com.
Convertwholesaledeals.com, guys. Listen, TTP, you're going to source these deals. When you want to convert and close these over and over and over, you got to look into it, and it's very reasonable.
Oh, it's very reasonable. I mean,
reasonable.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about it.
It's silly. Check it out on the link down below.
I'm actually embarrassed. Convertwholesaledeals.com. But where we're going with that is there's skills. So when you practice, right? Like everyone's like, oh, Todd, you're a natural born salesperson. Right. Well, let me tell you, that's a lie from the pit of hell. Right. And you get this by practicing in repetition. Right.
100%.
Reggie Miller, right? The guy was a 3-point shooter. And like, oh my God, he's such a natural. I guarantee you, or even Steph Curry, they practice behind the free throw line like constantly. Right?
Millions of times.
Millions of times. And so you've got to practice this stuff, okay? So you want to do that. You want to watch these videos that we're doing, watch them over and over and over and over and over and over again. You want to role play, that gives you more confidence. But the other thing that gives you just this edge, something that I talk about being a truth teller and a truth seeker, okay? And when you do this, when you're so blunt with the seller, man, they all of a sudden trust you. Even if they don't necessarily like the answer, it's like, well, I don't want to hear that, but I kind of like the guy because he's so blunt, right? So for me, like if we've got a deal and the seller is like, hey, I'm thinking about listing it. Right? Some people are like, well, after listing with an agent and after fees and costs and repairs and
inspection period,
we're gonna like net. It's gonna be pretty close. No. It's not going to be close. It's not going to be true unless you're trying to make this little tiny
That's usually what it is.
Tiny margin, right? And then you're begging, like, please do business with me. It's like, no. And I use that funny voice because I feel like that's, when you do that, that's how you feel. You feel like a small person, right? And you feel like you're begging and you feel pathetic. Okay? At least for me, that's how I used to feel. I used to get beat up when I used to sell Viagra. Pharmaceutical company used to do that. And I used to beg the doctors like for their time. And I used to sit down and had all these rules, and I used to sit there. And like everyone liked me in the offices, right? But like they weren't writing more, they weren't prescribing more of my drug, right? So I didn't have the respect. That's what it was. So my mentor taught me this, right? He's like, be a truth teller, be a truth seeker. When you do that, even though they don't like the answer, you'll get what you want most of the time. So for us, I said, look, if you fix this thing, right, and you fix it up and you put it on the market, you're going to net quite a bit more. And maybe that's a good option for you. Truth teller, truth teller, truth teller, truth teller. And when you do that, they're like, oh, I get that. Well, and then when you do that, that actually puts you in a position to be a truth seeker. Now they usually come back. So and that's also the truth teller, truth seeker is a form of that stealth mismatch.
Yeah.
Because I give you the opposite of where you think I want to go, and then you come back.
Yeah.
And then they start flushing out objections. They're like, well, no, actually, we don't have time to do that because of X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
My brother needs a kidney, and it's $50,000. I'm getting on the black market in Mexico. I need it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right. And
I'm just done with it. I'm just done with the house.
I'm just done. Done. And so and so that's how you do that. And so the truth teller, truth seeker, when you're constantly forcing the truth down their toilet, not the toilet, down the throat, right? You're gonna get you're gonna get respect. You're gonna get answers. You're gonna get your way.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Right. So what does that mean? So you tell them, like, hey, this is the price. Like, if they won't give you a price, and you've tried it all.
Yeah.
You've asked them 3, 4, 5 different ways.
I'm going.
What
low,
do you do?
Right. So the biggest thing's like, and I'd say,
so it's worth 300.
Okay, and I've tried. You want to ask 5 different ways, by the way. By the way, I really like the number 5.
Yeah.
Right. Why do I ask everything 5? It's because I want you to remember that. And there's 5 different things, right?
Yeah.
But so for me, I'm going to be like, hey, and I'm going to share those 5 things. And again, sometimes it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't work every time, but guess what? It works most of the time. So if you do this, you should get a number about 70% of the time.
Yeah.
So let's just go over those 5, and then I'll go back.
This is in those training videos at ConvertWholesaleDeals.com.
ConvertWholesaleDeals.com. They're in there, so you don't need to take notes. You can go there and watch these. Okay?
Got it.
Pay all cash and close quickly, and there was no real estate commission. What would be the best price you would accept? Again, if there was no fees to pay.
Got it. That's the first one that you would ask.
That's the first one.
Okay. They say, well, I don't really know.
Okay. Is like ballpark number 2.
Yeah, ballpark. I haven't even looked in a while.
I mean, just like your best guess. Best guess.
I don't know. Jeez, man, I really don't know.
Okay. Let me ask you a question.
Why don't you tell me?
Well, what do you think? What are the neighbor's house selling for?
I love how your shoulders are going up. Yeah. I don't know. What you tell me what you think. What would you pay for?
I mean, look. Can you just throw something out there so I just even know that we're even on the same range stratosphere? So that's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So then all of a sudden, after 5, I know this guy's his card's close to his chest, right?
Yeah.
So at this point, I'm going to go a really, really little soft pass. Remember, I'm going to use the cushion.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're like, hey, let's say the house I know I can pay 200, right?
Yeah.
And I want to come in 100. I'm going to say I can pay 100,000 and not a penny more.
Yeah.
Don't want to do that.
Right.
and by the way, we've got some really aggressive students who have done that, right? By the way, kudos for you for having courage. You got to have courage, right?
Yeah.
But you got to loosen it up a little bit, right? You got to be able to recover.
Yep.
So you can say, I don't know, what if I could pay like $100 grand-ish?
$100 grand? That's way too low. I'd need at least 125.
I thought you had no idea.
Well, I mean, I need more than that.
Come on.
No,
See,
120 and 125 sounds better.
125
Sounds a lot better.
Is that the best you can do?
It feels like it'd be. It does need a lot of work. Maybe 120. Best I could do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to be like, hey, deal.
Right.
You got to slow it down. There should be some friction.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
The worst thing that I could do and be like, let's do it. Let's sign the contract right now. Worst thing that you can do.
Because after that conversation ends and he's laying in bed at night and he's thinking about the conversation, what does he think?
Oh man, I could have got more.
I could have got more.
Or the text from the sister and the brother-in-law, you did what? And we fight for it. Said, no, I fought for this guy for an hour, and that's the best you can do.
Yeah.
So they got to feel good about it.
Yeah.
They got to feel good about it. A lot of it is emotion. This whole thing is emotional.
Yeah.
Right. If it made common sense, they just list with an agent.
Yeah.
So, So
equity for speed and convenience.
Equity for speed and convenience. And so, I think you've got to be. The confidence will come with the practicing.
Right.
Right. But
you've mentioned twice now role playing, like literally role playing these. Role playing it. Can you role play with yourself? Can you do it in front of a mirror? Do you do it with people in the industry? Do you find role play partners?
Great question, right? So the biggest thing is you've got to have the discipline to do this. So if you're a solo operator, again, that means that you're just doing this yourself, and that's totally okay, right? Do it in the mirror, right? And do it your wife. But I think the biggest thing is, man, you've got to be a warrior of your craft.
Okay.
Right? Is this a hobby, or are you going to be a warrior?
Yeah.
Right? And so, are you going to go into battle?
Yeah.
Without practicing?
Well, it's interesting because for centuries, there's apprenticeships.
Yes.
Right? For every craft.
Yeah.
Right? This is the apprenticeship for plumbing, or apprenticeship for electric, or they still have it. I mean, still do. You know, apprenticeship for wholesaling real estate. I mean, and some of these apprenticeships are years.
Yeah.
At the place that I get my hair cut, they have to sweep floors and wash heads for 2 years before they can cut hair.
Yeah.
2 years.
Yeah.
For a job that maybe at the max, but you know, $60,000, $70,000.
You got such good hair?
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, of course, but $60,000, $70,000 that they make that year, which is a lot, but we can make that on a deal.
Yep.
And if we can make more by practicing more, by understanding there's certain things, I think it's really powerful. If you literally write down all of the objections that you're getting on a regular basis, literally write them down, and just write out 1 or 2 responses that make sense to you. You can find it on videos. You can find it in Todd's program. You can find it, you know what I mean? And memorize those. Then when they come up, it's the same thing we talk about with the TTP script.
Yeah.
When you call somebody and ask somebody if they would consider an offer on their property, there's only 6 things that they can say. So if there's only 6 things that they can say, you know how to respond to
So where is this going to be published, by the way, this video?
This is YouTube. This is on the Wholesaling podcast.
Okay, so let's do this. In the comments
Yeah.
on YouTube, I think I would love for you to start writing down those common objections, right?
Yes.
And I got a little challenge here, if that's okay with you,
Yeah.
right? Is if you've got permission to record calls, right? And you've got some call recordings. So I would love for someone to post a call in which they got blasted.
Yeah.
Right? If
Yeah.
you got blasted and beat up, by the way, this goes back to courage, right? So if you feel like a fool, even better, because for me, that's the ultimate respect. If you're willing to put that file in the public domain, right? Make sure you've got permission.
Sure.
To do that. So I'll address that, right? And if you want to, you can even comment what you think you did right and what you did wrong. So if they go to the convertwholesaledeals.com, they watch those videos, you can actually send in one of your recordings, right? And just leave it in the comments, or maybe the MP3 file, or wherever you want to host it, if you know how to do that. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
If you do that, think about what you can do better, and I'll tell you what, the best one, I will personally critique that call.
Yeah.
Right? So I will take the recording,
and
I will make a new recording on top of that recording and break it apart for the listeners. What do you think about that?
I love it.
Yeah.
That is gonna be a lot.
Yeah. So we'll
I don't know if you know what you're asking.
Yeah, come on.
Okay.
It'll be
guys, do this. Really challenge it. I'm telling you, this is the master. This is who trains everybody. This is who has been doing it for forever. And nets a beautiful amount every single year in San Diego, in the surrounding areas in California. This is a huge opportunity. If you're listening to this podcast, come on.
Yeah.
If you're watching it on YouTube, come on. I mean, this is absolutely...
So do that. We'll handle
bananas!
Let's go. Come on now. Come on.
Awesome.
All right. So what's next?
I think, really, the main thing is price that I saw, time compression, and really, we don't have to get into, I don't know your company or anything like that, or any of those, or I want to hire price.
Well, let's actually do that, because I want to go in your company, because this goes back to reversing. Let's go back to control.
Okay.
So a lot of times our time gets eaten up because the seller's controlling the conversation. Right. So this goes part of your state and how you feel about what you're doing. So
well, and when you talk about dominating the conversation, I think that's more them directing it and asking a lot of random questions and going off on a lot of things. I don't think what you mean is, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think what you mean is they're answering all my questions and they're talking a lot. They're giving me all the conditions and the timelines and motivations and all this. That's what we want from them. What you're saying is they're taking it and going, how many properties have you bought? How fast do you close? Who's your title company? Where's your cash? Where's your all these things, right?
Right. Well, what I mean by that is, ironically, if you're controlling the conversation, if you're controlling, you're doing almost no talking.
Right.
Almost zero.
Right.
And that's a sign. If you're answering questions,
this is huge,
right? If you're talking, it's most likely they're asking the questions. You're giving them information and not the other way around. And that's a telltale sign. So if you start saying, I'm a member of the Better Business Bureau, right? And I've been in business in 15 years, and we did 100 houses last year, you're probably in trouble. You're in trouble, right? So you got to get control of this conversation really quick. So why don't we just give me, and again, we're probably running out of time here. So just give me a quick objection. Let me show you how I take control. One of the things that you answer a question with a question, right? Or you can use the word I don't know, right? But as soon as you do that, well, I want you to feel the power shift. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to do it the wrong way, and I'm going to do it the right way.
Okay.
So let's go.
Are you part of? Do you have a A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau?
Actually, we signed up in 2015, and we have an A+.
Okay, and I can look that up.
Yeah.
And it's not under some weird name. It's under your name. Like, what is your name? What's going on? What are you?
The name is Get It Done House Buyers Incorporated. We're a California corporation.
And this is going to be on the
contract. Oh my God, I
contract?
can't even handle it. My heart's skipping a beat. Okay, but this is real, right? So a lot of people, like just like I was in the doctor's office, you feel like you're providing this customer service because you're answering all these questions, right? And that's the worst thing that they need. I have no idea. I know nothing about you, controlling the entire conversation, and you know the name of my firstborn, right? So let's handle this the right way and take control of the conversation and close this deal. Let's close the video by closing the deal.
Yeah. So do you have a Better Business Bureau rating of A or A+?
What do you mean?
The BBB does ratings based on good companies. I think that's important.
So you're asking me if we're a member of the Better Business Bureau?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we do happen to be a member, right? But let me ask you, why is that important to you?
Well, I want to do business with people that have a good rating.
Okay, and what else?
People that, are good at what they do.
Okay, and what do you mean by that?
I love our sir. That you'll do what you say.
Okay, so you want someone who's going to do what they say. Okay, and how would you determine that?
That whatever's determined, that the contract gets done in the time that it is, and I get paid the money that we agree to.
Okay, so and you determine that someone's going to do what they're going to say, like by customer testimonials or our interaction together. Like, how would you determine someone's going to do?
Yeah, usually testimonials are good.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Okay, anything else?
Nope.
Okay.
Yep.
So are we at least agreed on price?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the price is fine.
Great.
I just want to make sure, I've never heard of your company, and I've heard a lot of stuff, and I've read the newspaper, and there's a lot of stuff in the news about, people doing scams, and I just want to make sure it's not a scam, and I want to make sure that we're doing business with somebody that's going to do good work.
I totally understand that, and I can completely relate. As a matter of fact, when I had another customer, same exact thing. When we bought her house, she was extremely stressed out, right? Ironically, we got into closing. She did a little bit of homework. Us went on video, talked to our looked at our testimonials. Then she talked to our escrow agent. She looked actually on the California corporation. Then she looked at our Better Business Bureau, and she felt comfortable. And as soon as she opened up escrow, and the escrow agent called her, it's this huge sigh of relief, right? And of course, when she got her money 7 days later, I mean, she was a huge fan. I mean, I'm not, I know you're not her, but let me ask you, if we can solve all those other issues, right? Are you ready to do business today?
Yeah, sounds good.
Great. So what do you need from me to feel comfortable?
No, you know what? I feel good. I feel fine.
Okay.
Yep.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want you to make you do anything you don't want to do.
No. You've answered my question.
Okay. Boom! Now we got it. All right.
Right.
You see how I like literally, you might be like, Todd, that's an exaggeration.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's really not.
Right. I control that literal. We're gonna get kicked out of it.
Yeah.
We're
definitely gonna get kicked out of here.
But man, I'm just having fun. This is great.
Yeah.
So the when you control the conversation,
I get it. I love it.
Yeah.
And you know what? I didn't feel, and honestly, I understand what is going on, but I felt that those were very reasonable questions. You know what I mean? It wasn't like you were trying to some weird technique, some sort of weird mesmerizing, hypnotizing techniques. You were just simply asking questions. But I think what's really important that you really have to, if you're listening and you're watching this, you have to listen to the tone that Todd uses, right? The tone that he uses and the active listening that he has, and the way that he's softening it up based on the way that I'm feeling. He doesn't want to go too aggressive with somebody that is obviously timid.
Yep.
Right? If you go too aggressive and you're like, well, why is that? Why do you want to know that? Well, yeah, I totally get it. Why do you want to?
Yeah.
What's important about that, right?
Right.
I think that's so huge. The whole, it's not what you say, but how you say it. If you can combine knowing what to say and how you say it,
Right.
that's when people start going really, really, really successful with it and closing a lot of deals.
And you could just change your tone.
Right.
Anytime.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
you know, like Brent,
Yeah.
can you just share with me why that would be important to you?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so you can say the same thing
Yeah.
depending on who you're dealing with. If I'm negotiating with Brent,
Yeah.
this thing's gonna be a firestorm.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. No. Yeah. Here it is.
Right.
Here it is. Yeah.
Right, but if you're negotiating with a 8-year-old grandma, that's going to be a different story, and
Yep.
you could mirror and,
Yep.
and match that.
Love it.
So,
Love it.
awesome.
Thank
This
you for
was
being on here.
This was a ton of fun.
This
man.
is awesome.
Yeah.
This is really, really incredible. Guys, go back, watch this again. If you want more, if you really want to get like a full, will you give at least kind of, you're on here, and obviously we've mentioned it 4 or 5 times for a reason. Guys, Todd has changed my life. Todd has changed more people that are millionaires now because of you. That it is my pleasure to bring you on the YouTube channel, anything, introduce you to as many people as possible.
Right.
Because I know that what you teach, one, is 100% instruction, not 100, but it is based on the foundation of instruction. You're not going there for education or entertainment by any means. And 2, if people take action on it, they truly can change their lives.
Right.
So, guys, thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly,
Awesome.
thank you from the bottom of my heart. Also, the website is convertwholesaledeals.com.
Yeah.
Convertwholesaledeals.com. If you want to source those deals beforehand, go to the most proactive group in real estate investing, which is the TTP program. That is at wholesalinginc.com/TTP. Check out the page. If it feels good in your gut, sign up for a call. And then once you want to convert all those and grow your business and grow your team and start really converting and getting the big deals.
Come on, baby. ConvertWholesaleDeals.com.
ConvertWholesaleDeals.com.
There's also some free videos there too, so you don't have to buy anything or anything. Just go there and check it out.
Awesome.
No pressure whatsoever. You can absolutely say no.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Got him. Until next time, guys, I encourage you to talk to people. See ya.